don't think she made enough of them. She only made 67% of her threes today with defense. And, you know, that just isn't going to get it long term for me.
How's Dorka?
Well, Dorka hasn't practiced all week, so she's just kind of get back into the swing of things, and a little bit at a time, you know, a little bit at a time. You know, I feel bad for her. She's like everybody else. She's had one little thing after another since preseason, and you know, she was in a really good groove there for a while, and now I guess we got to get back in there and kind of start all over, and one step at a time. One step at a time.
She going to be able to play tomorrow?
Oh yeah, she'll play tomorrow. She'll play tomorrow. She said she worked out yesterday and said she felt good, and I'm sure after today's practice she'll say she feels good.
Some minutes, right?
So, tomorrow?
Some
Oh
minutes.
yeah, she'll play. She'll play.
Of course, we don't know what the
Could be-
definition of some minutes is.
Yeah, could be she on a, you know, people say, is she on a limit, you know, minute limit? I go, yeah. Tell me what the score is and I'll tell you if she'll be in there or not.
Like Kristen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everyone else healthy? Any other personnel?
Whoever you saw out there running up and down, they're playing tomorrow. So everybody who's available to play is available to play tomorrow. We don't have anybody for the first time other than Paige in a long time that's not available. Let's put it that way.
How is Paige? What's her timeline?
Paige is good. Today, this week is like, it's her 8 weeks, right? She's been out, and she has an appointment tomorrow with our team doctors and with her surgeon. And I guess we'll know, you know, but it's been going great. Her rehab's going great. She looks fantastic. You know, she's done everything they've asked her to do, and now we just got to take a look and see, you know, how far has it come, and what does that mean in terms of going forward?
So it's more so to determine, the meeting tomorrow is to determine
What the next step
what
is.
the next step is?
Yeah, not like, you know, she'll play in the Villanova game Wednesday night.
Okay.
But when can she start being incorporated into some kind of workouts?
We've watched her, like she tried to run after a basketball that
Yeah.
got away and it didn't look good.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like she gets, you know, to do this she's still weeks away.
Could be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But a little while ago, she was months away.
Right. But, you know,
So-
if this appointment goes well, maybe there's
Yeah.
a little more clear
That's right.
timetable.
That's right. And you know me, Mr. Positivity, I'm always thinking the best of everything.
Are her spirits pretty good, or is she getting anxious wanting to come?
She went through that period, you know, where she was resigned to it, and then angry about it, and then frustrated about it, and then down about it, and came out on the other side and stronger for it and more determined than ever. So she's run the gamut.
She was testing it without the brace today. Has she been doing that?
Yeah, she's been in and out of it. You know, there are times when she's still in it, but then there's times when she's, you know, doing what she's doing and she doesn't have it on. So that's progress.
Did it help you guys not to play last night? I mean, just give you another practice day where you could get some things done?
Maybe. You know, sometimes the best way to get things done is to play in a game because you have real feedback. You know, but you know, given the way our travel plans unfolded the other night, you know, when we got in at 7 a.m, you know, from Omaha, you know, and we left there at 10. It's been a pretty grueling 3 or 4 days. So maybe it was for the best that, you know, it ended up being canceled.
Add that to the list.
Add that to the list. It's never ending. Never ending. That's it.
Where were you stuck?
We weren't.
Oh.
We weren't stuck. We couldn't land in Hartford because of the fog. So we had to go land in Albany, and then we had to find our way back here from Albany. You know, we've had a lot of great success in Albany.
point.
but none of it at 2:30 in the morning with a plane full of people that are just sick and tired of being on a plane.
Did you have to bus home from there?
And then we bust home from Albany. Yeah.
And you were already sick?
Well, I mean, I was feeling fine. You know, I kind of had a premonition that first quarter was going to go the way it did. So I didn't want to be carried out on a stretcher, so I just stay in the locker room and
That's easy to handle.
save everybody the heartache, or not give everybody a chance to get in the hell out of here.
Yeah. From what you watched on TV or on film, what do you think turned it around late in the second quarter and into the second half Wednesday night?
I think for as long as I've been at Connecticut, there's been a commitment, you know, defensively, and when there is that commitment defensively, there really is a distinct change in what happens on the offensive end. So I thought, you know, that first quarter, there wasn't a commitment to defense, there wasn't a commitment to ball handling, there wasn't a commitment to playing hard or doing anything. And I think the change happened because the defensive pressure was turned up. We got a little bit more aggressive, we got out a little bit more, and started attacking a little bit more, and you know, and that kind of snowballed, you know, against a really, really good Creighton team. You know, but that's the way it's always been here. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot harder to do now than it's ever been, you know? There used to be days when we would say to our starting center, hey, look, the other kids averaging 30, like we can't give them 30, and they get 30 anyway. That didn't used to happen. And then 3 days later, we say, hey, there's a kid that's really, really, really tough to play against. Yeah, I know, Coach, but we held it at 27 at Providence. That didn't used to happen. So it's getting a little bit more difficult to convince people that defense is really, 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 really important. It's not as easy as it used to be. Again, you know, I've never had a kid on their letter of intent when they signed it put, P.S., could you add that I'm only coming to Connecticut to play defense? We're still waiting for that letter of intent to come in.
What do you want to see from your defense tomorrow, especially against a team that turns the ball over a lot?
Well, you know, because we're adding players all the time, you know, we're subtracting and adding. You know, we're not necessarily a team of get out there and put pressure on you full court, you know, do some things. That's not who we've been. And for the longest time, we're playing with 6, 7 players. So we're certainly not going to, you know, extend our defense and do all that. And unless you do it all the time, it's hard to get good at it. So I wish we were, because that's the way I would like to play. You know, when you have 8 or 9 players that can play, get out, you know, defensively and make things happen. So can we do some of that tomorrow? Can we put a little pressure, depending, you know, not necessarily full court, but just because you feel like you got a few more bodies, you know? That's the goal. I mean, we'd like to play like that for the rest of the season, but you have to have people available, and, you know, for the first time, we may have enough people available that we can play like that.
The last non-conference matchup, is it a good to see, like, where you're at, kind of?
Yeah, that's why we play these. A lot of coaches don't like to play these. They don't want to play any non-conference games once the conference season starts. I like it, you know, because it gets you away from the familiar. You know, if you're not careful, you know, you're playing Creighton on Wednesday, you're playing Providence on Saturday, you're playing Villanova on Wednesday. You know, there's a lot of similarity to the way those 3 teams play, let's say. And, you know, so you get locked into playing a certain style of play against a certain kind of team. Now you have to step away and see something completely different, which is what you're going to see, you know, I haven't said this in a while, if we make the NCAA tournament.
What kind of challenges does Tennessee present for you?
the same ones that they've always posed in some ways. Their size is a challenge. Their offensive rebounding is a challenge. Their ability to break you down one-on-one off the dribble is a challenge. They struggled the last outing out, so I'm sure they're coming in with a sense of, maybe a little more sense of urgency, or maybe they wouldn't even need that. It's Connecticut after all, So it's, it's their physicalness that, again, it's a little bit different than, than what you normally see. So that's quite different. And they've got players that are really, really, really good at, as I said, taking you off the dribble one-on-one, Horston's really good at it. Burrell's back now, so she's really good at it. And the big kid inside she's just too big for any of our guys to handle. And so, we need to execute really well offensively. We need to shoot the ball well.
Does this rivalry still mean a lot to you? I think it means a lot to the fans, and they're looking forward to this matchup and the sport in general.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's things evolve, things change. It's certainly not the rivalry that it used to be, and it may never be that again. I don't know. I don't think any of these players remember any Tennessee-Connecticut game.
Yeah.
If it didn't happen earlier this afternoon and they didn't see it on TikTok, it didn't happen. So trying to explain to them what the rivalry was and who played in it and what it meant to the game of basketball. And so the only people who will hold on to that stuff are really the fans. Their fans, for sure, and our fans, for sure.
Right.
So as long as they're getting a kick out of it, that's great. I mean, I'm happy that we're able to do it,
It was 25 years ago you played Tennessee, and the first time you started playing somewhat regularly at the Civic Center. Do you still like playing there? How has it changed, I guess you could say? Because it used to be sold out all the time. It used to be crazy there. And just through the years, how it's changed, and is it still a good place to go?
Well, the fact that the media wasn't what it is today. Okay, so watching a game on TV 25 years ago is not the same as watching a game on TV today. So there was this sense, it evolved pretty quickly in '95, that you had to be at the game. That was a game, you had to be at the game. That watching that game on TV just wasn't the same. And now you look at watching a game on TV as a completely different experience now than it used to be, So I get it that, some people feel more comfortable. Throw in the COVID thing, and what does that do to people wanting to go out and go to a game, So there's factors involved. There's a lot of people that would tell you they love going to the XL Center and only get tickets for the XL Center because they don't want to have to drive all the way up here to stores 8 times a year, because that would be putting them out. And I get that, So you have to play X number of games at the XL Center. Do I like going down there? Having said all that, no, I hate it. I'd rather play every game here in Tampa. Be honest with you. Now, if all of a sudden it starts to look like some of the other places we play, then I would tell you, hey, let's play half of our entire schedule over there. But until that day comes, I'd rather play every game here.
This is definitely the best team under Kelly Harper so far. What are your thoughts on what she's done in Knoxville in her first 2 seasons?
It takes a little bit of time, to kind of get it going. And she's got players in there now that I think she's comfortable with coaching. And you can see that they play the style that she wants them to play. And I think she's done a great job there. I mean, they're back kind of where they were a while back. You know, I think what were they, like top 5 in the country or something like that, in one of the polls or a couple of the polls, and I don't know where they had them in that.
Number 1 seed.
They had them
They had them as a number 1 seed,
but they've lost twice since.
you know. So that's kind of where they were, and then they weren't for a long time, and now they are back there. So I would think she's done, I guess, what Tennessee expects her to do, and she has done where Tennessee expects to be. No question about that.
You said to try to get AZ to be more confident and to be more involved, like you guys and her teammates would have to, you know, keep getting her the ball in places where she can shoot. Is that something that you're constantly working on? Because like the other day, she had only taken 1 shot for a little while.
Yeah. You know, really, really good players that I've coached, players that can really shoot, players that are really good. The ball seems to have eyes, and it could be anywhere, but eventually, a lot during the game, it finds them. And you don't have to run a lot of plays for them, even though you do have a lot of plays for them. Even when you're not running a play for them, the ball ends up in their hands. I remember Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis was great at that. You know, we had like 1 play for Kalina, but she would get 15 threes every night and say, how'd she do it? I don't know, the ball just went, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you, but I like her. You know, and it'd be in her hands and it's gone. AZ, when she's active, you know, when she's aggressive and she's moving and she really wants to take over a game, the ball's in her hands all the time, whether we want it to be or not. And then when she's not, it isn't. And we have to like manufacture ways to get her the ball. And that might just be because, you know, she hasn't played a lot this year. And the chemistry with the other players isn't what it would normally be if she played, you know, those 7 weeks or whatever that she missed. So little by little, though, you know, she has a personality type that's not exactly in your face. Give me the ball. You know, she's more laid back. So, but we try pretty hard to get her the ball, and we should try even harder. And she should try to make sure that she shoots it every time she touches it. Because if she doesn't, somebody else is going to shoot it. Then I'll have to spend more time in the locker room instead of on the sidelines.
What do you hope, like, long-term with her and Caroline able to be on the floor together? Especially since probably at the beginning of the season you'd think Caroline would maybe be playing the role that she is now. And then eventually adding Paige back. What can that mean for your offense?
Yeah, I like to think that Caroline and Kristen much more so lately, have really been the most consistent players that we've had, you know, over the last 3 weeks or so, you know, since the Louisville game probably, right? So that might not have happened if Paige hadn't gotten hurt. So we benefited, even though I would certainly not have wanted it to happen that way. So now that we know what Caroline can do, and now we have AZ back, we have options. We have more different, exciting, you know, challenges that we pose for other teams that we didn't have, you know, 6 weeks ago. And you know, it's our job as coaches to find out how to incorporate those. And our other players are starting to learn how to find them. They've gotten pretty good at how to find Carol. But at the same time, Caroline's gotten pretty good at finding the ball. AZ doesn't have Caroline's mindset. I wish he did. But hopefully we can instill that in her.
Is that to have options like you were saying on defense and who to
Yeah,
look on the bench
yeah.
and be able to put somebody in? Is that
Yeah,
nice?
yeah, yeah. Just different ways to play. You know, it's hard when everybody in the building knows exactly who's going to shoot the ball, because that's the only one that's going to shoot it. That's where it's going to go in. So the more people that you have to guard, the more places that you can put people to spread the defense out, the more opportunities for everybody. You know, having Paige and having AZ in the game, having Caroline in the game, having Kristen playing the way she's playing, all of a sudden there's more room for Liv to do what Liv does in the lane. So there's a lot of side benefits to all that.